Hi guys, today's video is a digital painting of my original character, Vera. Vera started out as a Pokemon OC in early 2009. She was a Monferno, and yeah, she's still active in that story, but since then I've turned her into a human OC who is not really part of any story, but is more just my experimental OC that I use for trying out different styles and different coloring methods and things like that. So that's what she's doing in this video here, because this is a digital painting practice. I recently bought The Art of Bluish by the artist Bluish, and it is an incredibly helpful book for artists to look at, I think. Just looking at her process and being able to see how she does her paintings is so helpful for your own work, I think. At least it was very helpful for me to read. And it was also a very interesting read too. So I highly recommend looking at it, even just getting it from the library for a day or something, because oh man, has it ever been a great book to have. So what I'm doing right here is sort of based on a tutorial in the book. It wasn't super duper based on it because I didn't have the book with me while I was drawing this, but I read the tutorial and then sort of did what I remembered from the tutorial and changed some things on my own, but mostly I was trying to follow her steps to see how Bluish's painting style would work for me. And honestly, I think it works pretty well. Like, one thing I thought was interesting was that she likes to keep it simple by working on as few layers as possible. So sometimes even her enormous paintings only end up being one layer. And I thought that was really interesting because before this, I tended to use way too many layers. Like, I guess not too many because everybody has their own preferences and ways of doing things, but I used a lot of layers, like one for the hair, one for the skin, one for the clothes, one for the eyes and stuff. And I'm starting to realize that maybe that was unnecessary and kind of overcomplicating my painting process. I also found it useful to look at how she uses colors. So she kind of, like, to shade the hair, for example, I used some colors that you could see when the line art overlapped some other colors. So the dark red was actually from the pink line art overlapping the orange. Same with the dark purple in the dress. So using colors like that actually helps your piece look way more cohesive, I think. It's explained much better in the book, I should say, because Bluish is a professional and I am merely learning still. So yeah, if you want a better explanation of her digital painting process, I would recommend looking up her own stuff and just learning that way, because yeah, I'm not the best teacher because I'm learning myself. Anyway, so one thing I did with this piece was actually step away from it and then come back to it later. Certain things were just not coming together when I first did the first half, let's say, and I had to step away from it for a while before I really understood what was wrong with it. And when I came back, I realized certain things, like the painting didn't look finished to me, even though I thought it was. It really wasn't. Like, I could still work on it a lot more, so I added a lot more shadows and depth to it. I changed the mouth because it was just bugging me a lot. And yeah, just coming back to it really helped, I guess, put things into perspective. You know, like, sometimes when you're looking at something for too long, you can't really see certain things about it. Like, you can't see all its qualities for what they really are. And I think that's especially true for art. You kind of need to step away from it sometimes and just be like, okay, let's look at this with a fresh set of eyes an hour later or a day later even, and just work on it then. And I think that really helped me for this piece. Like, as you can see, I added a lot more depth, I guess, and lighting, and just overall it looks a lot more complete with the second half that I'm doing. So I'm glad that I stepped away and came back to it later. It was really fun adding in the blue for the shadows, because it made the other colors react in a way that I wasn't really expecting. Like, the blue overlaid with the orange of her hair or the red of her hair made this sort of purple like color in the shadow, and I really liked that. Like, I never would have thought to do that had I not read Loish's tutorial, but then, I mean, now I know that it looks really cool, so I'll probably try and remember that in the future to use in future paintings. I also really like just the highlight effects that I had. Like, I didn't usually use highlights even like 6 months ago, but I've been trying them more, and I've decided that I actually really like them. Like, I didn't like them before because I liked my pieces to have a sort of more flat graphic quality, but I don't know, there's something really nice about having bright highlights and stuff in your pieces, so yeah, I really like that. And that's about all the time I have for this piece, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!